Well, great balls of fire, Bubba. What happened, Buford? That crazy son of a Sal blew right through that four-way stop on Main Street and plowed into my cowboy Cadillac.
Your what?
My pickup truck. And I'm pretty sure my leg is broken, Ted.
Oh, quit your bitching, Buford, and talk with those side busters at the Advocates Law Firm. When I got busted up last month, well, shoot, they made sure those snakes at the insurance company played fair.
Boy, howdy. Even that creepy so-and-so Kyle earned his keep.
So if you get injured, the advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Truck carrying a sewage tank ran a stop sign, struck the front end of a car, and overturned in Marion County in Florida. Troopers said the crash happened about 6:20 in the morning. According to the report, a truck was traveling north on a road, failed to stop sign, and went into the intersection, hit the front right of a Hyundai sedan. The crash caused then the truck to overturn, spilling the sewage from the 1,000-gallon tank it was carrying. The driver of the Hyundai, he had no injuries in the crash. The truck driver had minor injuries, according to troopers. The intersection was closed, and they had to clean that bad boy up for about 5 hours.
I would hate to be on that crew, man.
What is the craziest crash that you've been in or witnessed? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Brent. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So, hey, about 20 years ago, my wife and I were driving down right in the middle of a town in Minnesota, and it was the middle of winter, so it was a little bit snowy. And there was an apartment building on the right-hand side and a city bus right after that, so we couldn't see the train that was approaching on the train tracks.
Uh-oh.
And so we passed that city bus, and oh my gosh, you guys were talking about how time slows down. As soon as I passed that city bus, my wife looked over and she just yelled, "Train!" And it took forever for that word to come out, and I was like, oh my gosh. So what I should have done is just hit the gas and keep going. But instead I hit the brake, and it was icy. So I stopped my car in the middle of the train tracks, put my car in reverse real quick, and wheels are spinning. I start backing up, and for about, a second or something like that, I was thinking, whoa, I'm going to make it. And then, bam, this train hits right the front of our car, swung us all around, and, end of the day, we're all okay, which is just amazing. We backed up far enough for the train just to clip the corner of my bumper, and it swung around, and that's my story.
No, they didn't have the gates and the flashing lights at this railroad crossing?
They did not, and this was mostly a service track. It was fairly close to where I was living at the time, and when the cop came to talk to me afterwards, the guy didn't even give me a ticket because he said, boy, I've worked in this town for quite a while. I've never seen a train on these tracks, and that's so no, there weren't gates.
Huh.
There was nothing like that. It was just the big light of a train coming right down at us, and then it hit us. It was a short train. It was like a service train, so it only had like 10 cars or something like this. It was able to stop fairly quickly, and I saw the engineer, run towards us. And he was a big man. I mean, a big guy. And I've never seen a big guy run that so fast in my life. And he was just like, "Hey, are you okay? Are you okay?" And we just said, we seem to be fine. And I don't think he could even believe that that we were okay. I still have a hard time.
So when you call like Geico. Mm-hmm. Do they believe you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to say, look, I got no fender bender or whatever. My car got hit by a train.
Just clipped.
They're always going to send an adjuster out. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, like, do you take pictures of the crash site or anything like that?
There was a police report to back me up, so that did it. And like I said, they gave me a report, but they didn't give me a ticket. And so I don't even know if my insurance rates went. I'm sure they did, but not like they would have if I would have been ticketed.
How much damage did the car sustain?
I drove that car for about 6 years afterwards. We fixed it. And it sustained enough damage to bend the whole front. But like I said, I was lucky enough to back up just past my front tire. So everything that train hit was in front of the tire, in between the tire and the bumper and like that. And it was so icy that as soon as that train hit, the car spun around at least 360 degrees.
Sure.
There was no traction at all.
I think it would have done that even if it wasn't icy.
It just would have hurt you more.
And what color were your and your wife's underwear after this?
No comment on that, but it was a stressful experience, and oh my gosh, it's one that you ever tell that story, two truths and a lie, and it's one of those icebreaker activities for getting to know people. And so,
what is it?
That's one of my things, and they always think it's a lie because no one gets hit by a train.
Oh, see, basically, I tell you three things.
You say three things. Two of them are true. One of them's a lie.
Okay. So where do you go to for the lie? Jesus Christ, man.
I generally tell people that I have 3 tattoos, and they think that's the truth. But no, that's a lie.
Okay. All right. Those service tracks are weird, too. Because you've never seen a train there before.
Right.
So, like, in Soto, there's a bunch of those.
All over.
Where you're just like, you're stopped in traffic. There are no traffic crossings or anything like that. Yeah. And there's a train going across the street. And you're like, I never even realized that there were tracks going across the street there. I didn't realize that the trains crossed the street and went over that way.
You don't see them a ton.
No, but when you do, it's always like, this is weird.
You ever been out in the sticks and you got to cross a train track and there's just nothing there.
Yeah,
it is.
Well, the worst is there's a couple of hikes in West Virginia, and if you want to save, say an hour or an hour and a half instead of hiking all the way down into a valley or whatever, there is a train truss bridge that you can walk across. But like anything else,
it's a train.
You put your ear down to the track, you know what I mean, and you're between the slats, it's straight down. So you need to pay very special close attention to your footing at all times because you're going from truss to truss. So you're looking down, you're trying to hurry, but at the same time, you have to be so careful that you don't fall that it's too much. Like there's too much nerve-wracking stuff going on at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
They give you an option: hit by the train or go over the truss.
I mean, you would naturally jump. I think I don't think that there's. I mean, you would try to jump and grab onto a tree.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's the problem. Nobody wants to go over the truss, but
you'd rather do that than get by a train.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
You don't have a chance. Either way,
I think in that moment you're jumping.
You're still going over if you get hit by the train, but instead of just jumping, you've also been hit by the train. You see?
Yeah, and trains move quicker than you think they are. Even when they look like they're going slow.
Mm-hmm. We discovered that it's back in Baltimore, but where the Ravens currently play football, railroad tracks used to go through there. Mm-hmm. My buddy and I, where we lived, we went to the club Hammerjacks, and where we lived wasn't the worst walk in the world, maybe a mile and a half, but we're drunk, it's late. And one of these quote-unquote slow-ass cargo trains is making its way north. So we're like, cool, let's just run and grab the train. We're hobos, man.
Yeah.
I've never done it before, so...
Sure.
We're 21 years old, so our health is strong. And I remember we caught the train. First mistake I made, though, we run up and you kind of get your hand on the little ladder thing on the side. You got to keep running and kick off. I kind of relaxed myself because I caught it. And you realize the weight of the train, it was ripping my arm out of my socket, right? But I hold on, and then the one thing we forgot about this particular train, it's maybe going 15 miles an hour, right? But the last thing it does before it gets to where it's going, it goes through this dark-ass tunnel called the Howard Street Tunnel. We didn't think about this part. It is pitch black. It is super loud. And then at this point, so I have pressed myself as close to the train as I can, holding on to this ladder, because I'm convinced that something's going to be sticking out of the wall and just rip me off. So that's kind of nerve-wracking. And then I'm wondering, is Leon still there? You know what I mean? When we get to the actual station, when there's light, if it's just me, this is bad, right? Because I got to go back into the tunnel and find him, man. Luckily, we were both there, but when we got to the station and I realized my eyes are wide, I'm staring back to see if Leon has made it. When light finally illuminates him, I imagine the expression on his face was the exact same as mine. His eyes are wide, staring at the ladder, and we're both like, oh, my God. We never did that again.
No.
It was, I'm telling you, man, it was terrifying.
Me and my brother got yelled at on those tracks because we parked over at the football stadium. and you can cut through to kind of go to like the Orioles game.
Yeah, of course.
So we were cut through the tracks, and it was like, do we go? Do we not go? Like, we thought about it for like half a second, and then you could hear the conductor be like, "Get the F off the tracks." Thanks. We're like, all right. I was like, we didn't even get on him, and he was like,
right.
All right.
I can see what you're thinking.
Captain Friendly.
What is the craziest crash you've been in or witnessed? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Ross. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, how you doing?
Hola.
Hey, this is about the divider on the West Seattle Freeway. You remember when the freeway didn't have a divider?
I don't know if I remember.
Latter 90s, maybe. Well, anyway, this is the accident that got a divider on that freeway. It was three dead. It was 5 people in one car that got T-boned by a Jetta, I believe, and the Jetta was smashed up into the windshield, so the full front of it was gone, and then the other car was T-boned right down the middle. So there was one half that was up on the elevated divider of the exit for 99 South.
All right.
So just then, my buddy got out because he saw somebody over on that exit, and he checked his pulse, and he looked up at me, and it's like he just saw a ghost. He felt his last pulse.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it was a really bad one. We were probably the second people on the scene.
Yeah.
And I guess there was shoes all over the place. They were just littered like
shoes. Yeah,
shoes.
Big enough impact for whatever reason. The shoes are the things that seem to leave your. I mean, obviously a hat, but yeah, shoes. I don't know why, but my buddy Willis got hit by a car, and he was out of his mind on heroin. But when he got hit, we saw his body flying through the air, but also his shoes going off in 2 different directions.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they were tied. They were firmly on his feet, but I guess when a car hits you, your shoes are gone.
Huh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jolt. Big time jolt.
Damn.
So in one of the halves of the car that was elevated, there was a guy still in there, and he was arched. He was like hanging just flaccidly he was stuck in his mid side or like his solar plexus area.
All right.
With a metal rod. He was just kind of, hung over. And of course he was dead. And then I go to a guy that was laying on the freeway, and I'm just like looking at him like 3 feet above his face. And it was like a horror movie. His eyes opened and immediately started to get up. And right when his head left the ground, I saw this puddle of blood behind it. And it was frightening. It's like I'm reliving this whole thing over. It's like 25 years ago, and it's like I totally remember it like it was yesterday.
I bet you will, man.
Oh, yes, for the rest of my life.
Did that guy make it?
I'm not sure, but I do know that 3 people died.
Wow, that sucks. What do you think would be
the
the better scenario? Because he says his buddy goes over and checks the guy's pulse. You feel his last pulse. Then he's gone. Would it be just as far as you think you would handle the situation? You think it'd be better to go over and feel the last pulse, or just go over and he's pulse free?
The pulse goes out. Do you start giving CPR? Do you think to yourself, I'm going to try to revive this guy? You know what I mean? Not knowing.
But what
internally,
do you do CPR on like trauma victims? I thought CPR was more like
if you pull them out of the ocean, I go
last pulse, you stop breathing. So
right, but I mean, depending on the trauma and or but
if he's missing an arm, just doing CPR help? I mean, he might just be blood loss.
Like I don't know what you do in that situation. Like I said, if we pull him out of the ocean, it's like I got a handle on this. But
or do you pour? Unless the car's going to catch on fire, do you try to also pull the person out of the car? Based on the fact that maybe they're paralyzed, or maybe you could do further damage to their neck or back, or you know what I'm saying? Like unless the car bursts into flames,
sure.
You know what I mean? Obviously,
I don't know. I mean, my father years ago, and I've told this before, but I was not with him. But my parents are going out. They come home, and I remember he had a yellow polo on. And when they walked back into the house, I mean, he is covered in blood. But my father being my father, and he's just whistling and all that. And I'm like, "Oh my God, are you all right?" And his only response, "Oh, don't worry, it's not my blood." And I'm like. But there's a lot of blood, dude.
It's not my blood.
Right, something bad. So my mother explains, well, there was a bad car accident in front of us. Father got out of the car, and I pulled some lady out of the car. I don't know if the car was on fire. I don't know if they said it was okay to move. I don't know. But she was blooded up. He pulled her out, did whatever he had to do, and So it wasn't his blood, but yeah, that was his entire response. Oh, don't worry.
I don't know. I feel like I'd rather just touch a dead body.
I agree. 100%.
There's something awful about watching the last breath go out of a human.
Mm-hmm. What is the craziest crash you've been in or witnessed? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Al. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, fellas. How we doing?
Hola.
All right. So this was back in 95. They were getting ready, as in Pullman, they were getting ready to reintroduce the wolves to Yellowstone.
Okay.
Well, in the meantime, they had them stored up where the grizzlies were, because the grizzlies were hibernating up in it was like a observation area just outside of town, and it kind of was a road that went off of a main road and then corkscrewed up this hill, kind of the highest point in the Palouse. And I'm in a car with my buddy and his girlfriend. It's I think it's like an 84 Prelude or something, and we polished off a fifth of tequila between the two of us, so we're just hammered. And my buddy's driving like he's Mario Andretti up this corkscrew road, and I tell him, man, you got to slow down. We almost missed that turn. Whoa, we almost missed that one. Well, then, just like you said, slow motion, I felt the back wheel slide out, and I vaguely remember looking at him and going, well, here we go. And at that point, so we're going probably 60 miles an hour. The car rolls not end over end, but widthwise down, crosses the road to the bottom. And the crazy thing was I remember seeing my buddy going through the sunroof, and for some reason I reached up to grab him, and just something in me said don't. So I pulled my hand back. He probably would have been chopped in half had I done that. My other friend went out through the back window. His girlfriend went through the back window. And then another point, I remember when the windshield broke, this piece of glass, slow motion, just twirling till it hit my eyeball. And I just remember so distinctly how cold the piece of glass was.
That's better than remembering pain.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But it was nuts because, we're 15 miles outside of town, no cell phones. I come to when the car finally stops rolling, and I'm thinking, like, it's going to blow up. So I'm like, all right, guys, we got to get out. I look around, and nobody's there. And then I start to remember seeing my friend go through the roof, and I finally am able to, I couldn't get the doors open, so I also crawled out the sunroof. And I found them up on the hillside, 2 roads up. I gave my friend, his girlfriend, my jacket. Dave the driver, was barely breathing. I decided I got to get to town to get help, and I'm covered in blood. I'm like 6'7", 300 pounds. I make it down to the main road. I'm walking, and one car like vaguely kind of slows down, sees me covered in blood, and speeds up. Another, like, oh, we're gonna die. This is terrible. Another guy, actually 2 like parasites in this pickup truck. I think they had seen I don't know what happened, but they pulled over, said, you need help? I said, yeah. They said, you're in that accident? I said, yeah. Yes, sir. He said, you guys got any drugs or anything you need us to get rid of for you? Like, no, man, I need help. I need 911. And so they're like, oh, yeah, we'll call for you. Jesus. So I'm hoping that they call 911, and I'm still going down the road. Maybe 5 minutes goes by, another car passes me. They also promised to call 911. So I turn around, and by this point I see lights coming. But like I said, it's probably 15 miles outside of town. So I head back to where the main road is to show the ambulance where to find my friend. And like you said, I thought I was just no problems until the ambulance finally got there. They're like, dude, you need to sit down. I had a broken ankle, ended up 22 stitches in my head. Luckily, everybody lived, but I don't know how. Like, it was...
Were you ever at any point, back to the beginning of the story...
This is what I'm thinking
about the wolves.
I'm covered in blood, and there's goddamn wolves out there.
Did that cross your mind?
I know that the wolves were in the cage, but... Sorry.
Once again, bedroom colors, here are the 7 words you can't say on the radio.
Snuck that one in there.
Yeah. Sucker, mother, And please keep those words in mind when calling. Now, back to the program.
See, I'm tracking with you, Miles.
Yeah,
I'm like, I heard this story.
I heard the beginning of it, and now I'm wondering, are you going to get eaten? Is your buddy eaten? Like, what happened?
Right, like, if I'm thinking like, yeah, Miles and Ted are up the road, man. There's goddamn wolves out here.
Right. I'm out.
I can't get over that he's 6'7", 300, covered in blood.
Blood, right.
Or just fit into a prelude.
I'm just not stopping.
Oh, I feel bad. I'm not stopping for
There's
that
no
either, man.
chance.
What is the craziest crash that you've been in or witnessed? 206-421-ROCK.
Bro, gnarly. What's up, Taylor? Dude, that nerd in his electric hybrid totally blew the light while texting his yuppie friends.
That's so bogus, bro. Are you hurt?
Yeah, like I can't move my hips, bro. I think I broke my pelvis, man. Dude, no way.
Taylor, you need to drop a dime and talk with the lawyers at the Advocates Law Firm.
No way, can't afford that, bro.
Your crotch is broken, man, and they don't earn any money unless they win your case.
Dude, no way.
You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
All right, let's clear this garage. Start a pile here for donations, one over here for recycling, and one more over here for trash. Hang on, what are you doing?
Recycling?
We may need that paint one day, and that can't be recycled.
First, this can looks older than me. And second, paintcare.org says you can.
Paintcare.org. Let me see. Oh, and there's a drop-off site close by. And it's free? Nice.
Dad, no.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Don't you forget. 420. We'll give you that secret word, chance to pick up tickets to see Slash, Miles Kennedy, and the Conspirators. Secret word coming up at 420. Do not forget that time. In the meantime, our question: what is the craziest crash you've been in or witnessed? 206-421-ROCK.
Oh, let's say hello to Ryan. Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
So, of the several crashes I've been in, the most crazy one was on my way home from college classes in San Diego in like 2005. The Air Force Base was launching a satellite, and the entire freeway came to an immediate standstill. And not caring about the satellite, more interested in the fact that the Mercedes in front of me was slamming on his brakes, I came to a nice clean stop, but the CHP officer behind me in his Ford F-250 did not.
So you got hit by a cop?
I got hit by a cop at like 50 miles an hour while I was at a standstill.
So what is that conversation like? Do you walk up to him and say, do you have anything in the vehicle I should know about, or what?
He actually woke me up after my car went over an entire lane and into the wall, and came and got me out of the car and was profusely apologetic.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Funny how that works.
He really cared about the satellite, I guess.
Yeah, we had people standing on the freeway next to their car taking pictures.
That doesn't seem like a good idea.
No.
Taking pictures of the satellite or your crash?
The satellite.
Ah, okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, like, being on the side of the road is one of the most dangerous things in the world.
Yeah,
and I know because I'll get behind cars now. And they're like in the bike lane on the right side of the road.
Oh, yeah.
Just driving. You know what I mean? It's clearly marked a bike lane. And they've got two wheels in it, easily. Just driving down the road. I'm like, oh my God, you're going to kill somebody.
Yeah, that's not what I worry. Being on the side of a highway is what scares the crap out of me.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm just thinking.
Yep, we were changing the tire there, man.
Yep.
And I kind of saw the truck coming. No big deal. I just go back to changing the tire. But when it went by me, I realized physically how close it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am not enjoying this very much at all. However, in that moment, it was the first time I was ever mentioned on the radio. During a traffic report, I was known as Trouble Spot on I-83
Trouble
North.
Spot.
Yes, I was Trouble Spot.
Trouble Spot. What is the craziest crash you've been in or witnessed? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Anthony. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
So, back in October, I was in Silverdale and driving home, minding my own business. Next thing I know, I was in the Goodyear parking lot. A car had pulled out in front of me, and I ended up hitting her and totaling the front end of my mother-in-law's car so bad they had to weld a bar to it in order to tow it away.
Damn.
What kind of car was it?
An Elantra.
Okay. Were you injured?
I ended up with bruised ribs, cuts down my leg. My neck was hurting real bad.
You said that you ended up in the Goodyear tire parking lot. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Did you get new tires?
No.
I mean, you're there.
The irony is, they use tires as the buffer on like racetracks and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Just saying, like,
You think they give you a discount?
You get handy anywhere,
I'm here. What is the craziest crash you've been in or witnessed? 206-421-ROCK.
I just like that he's driving his mother-in-law's car. It's going to be funny in a minute, but I effed up your car. Right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Years from now, we'll laugh about this.
Not yet. Okay. Hello, Christopher. Welcome to the men's room. Hola, Christopher.
Chris is not there.
And he's gone.
And he's gone. All right. Well, hello, Casey. Welcome to the men's room.
Casey? Oh, hello. Hola, Miss Hola.
Hola.
Casey caught off guard.
All right, keep it short and sweet. My buddy, I've seen him for 6 months. This is right out of high school, right? And his nickname is Crazy David.
Always a good sign.
6 months later.
It's always a good sign when your nickname's Crazy.
Oh, exactly. He picks me up. He wants to pick me up. He said, it's like 10 o'clock at night. He's like, we need to go for a drive now. I'm like, dude, I haven't seen you for 6 months. He's like, I'm playing the friend card right now. You need to come with me. I had to do it. End up, this guy going 90 miles an hour down the freeway in the construction zone. It's only down to one lane on the freeway. And he's crying at this point now, saying that everybody says he's crazy, that nobody takes him seriously. I was like, no, dude, you're completely sane. Absolutely.
That's why you're going 90 in the construction zone.
Crazy, damn.
Crazy.
Absolutely. And I was like, dude, cops aren't here yet. Can you get into the other lane? Can we, chill out? He's like, okay. And he drops down about 60, whips over into the other lane, smashes the dude in front of us.
Oh, Jesus.
We whip over to the side of the lane. His two back tires get ripped off, so he whips over back into the construction, but we're driving on rims. Sparks flying, everything happening. And, we just go about 3 miles on rims.
3 miles?
Eventually, 3 miles down the freeway, down in the Olympia area. And, so eventually, the cops never came, but he eventually pulled over. And we're probably 5 miles from my house. He says, Casey, go home and come pick me up. I said, David, I got you, bud. I'm out. I go about 600 feet, call my friends, and say, hey, man, I got a really good story for you. Come pick me up.
Right.
Did you go back and get him? Did you go get him?
No, God, no. Are you kidding me?
All right. You're a real good friend.
Good friend. He's just having a mental breakdown
Sounds that way.
while driving 90 miles an hour.
Uh-huh. And hey, man, I was a passenger. I had a mental breakdown. I texted my friend and said, I might not live tonight. He goes, what? I go, well, I might tell you later. Let's find out.
And so
That's frightening.
Have you seen this guy since?
About a year later, and then we were on the dodgeball team together.
Okay. Is he doing okay?
I think so. I know he's alive.
Did you call him Dave or Crazy Dave when you saw him a year later?
Yeah.
Crazy David.
No, okay.
Well, he's always been alive, but it doesn't appear that he's been doing okay.
Yeah. When you go 90 miles an hour on rims in tears, I'm going to die tonight. That's what's happening.
Yeah, that's what went through my head. But 2 years later, he's kind of mad at me that I didn't pick him up. But you know, you got to pick and choose your battles.
Oh, I hear you, man.
Damn.
I think you may have made the right decision.
I don't know.
3 miles on rims?
Yeah, but you got to go pick them back up. That dude's been thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So this is my situation. Maybe I text you, Ted, and say, Ted, can you do me a solid?
All right.
And pick up Crazy David. I was just in the car with him. Right. Oh, that's what I mean. So now I'm on the hook for picking his ass up.
Because the crazy dude now knows you didn't come back to get him.
This is
You're
true.
on his list.
So you're leaving me on my own, essentially. Because we both know who Crazy David is. And you're like, I'm not picking him up if he's having an episode. He can be mad at you alone, man.
Correct.
Can't believe they actually call him Crazy David. Seems like one that you say for the people that, you know what I mean?
Typically when Crazy's the nickname, it's behind their back, right? I think, usually.
I think it's like 50-50.
It's not like a badge of honor.
Well, sometimes
what
it
kind
is.
of crazy are we?
Yeah.
If you're the guy that will pour a beer into an ashtray and drink its contents, we'll call you Crazy Miles. That's no big deal. You recognize that you're going out there. If it's Miles burst into tears every third day, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to call you Crazy Miles.
Yeah, but if someone hasn't met me and I'm coming, you say, look, my buddy Miles is coming. He's crazy.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But to say, oh, Crazy Miles is coming.
Right.
Completely different meanings.
Yeah, it does kind of send a different
crazy
vibe.
when you say he's crazy, it just means like, oh, man, it's going to be interesting. But Crazy Miles is like, you got to worry about this guy. Like,
plus, people that introduce themselves as Crazy Blank, I go, all right, this guy's fine, right? It'd probably be annoying and all that, but like, he's ashtray drinker. If I've heard that you're crazy, you're like, hey, it's Miles. I'm like, oh, he doesn't know this crazy. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's kind of half and half. Because I've definitely met people that are like, I'm Crazy D. And it's like, for what? Like, I'll do anything. All right.
Yeah.
Crazy D?
Cool.
I don't know, shotgun and meatball.
Shotgun and meatball.
Right? But I'm just like, you're right. Then there's other people where I feel like I'd be more apt to be like, no, he is crazy. Like, he's insane. Yeah.
What is the craziest crash that you've been in or witnessed? 206-421-ROCK.
What's your Crazy D looking at you like? Shotgun and meatball? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Chop it up. Snort it.
Snort
Crazy
meatball.
SOB. Rail that ball. Yeah, meatball.
Meatball. Yeah. Hello, Shane. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
Hey, so about 18 years ago, there was 5 of us riding in the back of a pickup truck, and then one guy driving. We had went swimming, so none of us had our cell phones or anything like that, and we were cruising down a back road. The guy driving, I guess, didn't know that there was a 90-degree turn, and there was 2 telephone poles side by side, and we went off the road and hit them head on.
Ooh.
I was thrown into the back of the cab, and so and then was ejected up in the air. The guy that was sitting on the toolbox next to me, he was ejected off the side of the truck. My girlfriend at the time flew face first into the front of the bed.
Ooh.
There was, and then there was 2 other people that I had just met that night, and they were, one was thrown around inside the bed, the other one I think was thrown out. But I hit the cab so hard that I pinned the driver between the steering wheel and the roof of the truck.
Jesus.
And so everybody pretty much walked away. There was two. Both of the girls were taken by Care Flight. That's by helicopter in Texas, and then everybody else went by ambulance, including myself.
How bad was the damage to you?
So to me, I just had glass all over my back and my butt, but I ended up getting an athletic tear because I was running. I was the only one that came out. I was running to try to get help, and there was some houses down the road. So it was about a quarter mile back down to the road, and I was beating on the window and trying to get somebody to answer, the front door. And this was July 4th weekend. So there was nobody home at the first house. I went to the next house, ended up beating on the door so hard that I broke their front glass.
Oh, God.
And then they ended up calling an ambulance, and the police got there and everything like that.
What do they say about the glass in the front door?
Yeah.
So I told them that I'd pay for it. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. And the guy's like, don't worry about it. We'll get it taken care of. And, they were super nice, very helpful. yeah, so my girlfriend that was at the time, when I ran back to the truck, I jumped in the bed and was holding her, and she had some pretty long-lasting brain injuries from the wreck.
Oh, damn.
She's not quite the same, but we're still friends, and she still knows, but she doesn't know why she's different because of the accident. But she's a functioning adult, has a kid of her own, married, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, what is noticeably different? I mean, as far as
your perspective.
Yeah.
Well, so like her attitude, her her demeanor was definitely changed, and she got pretty violent there. Like after she got out of the hospital, because she was in intensive care for I guess it was about 2 months.
Damn. Okay, that's crazy. Did you guys continue to date after this?
So we did for a little while, but she had completely 50 first dates. That's kind of how it was. Like every day I had to explain to her that I was her boyfriend, I was dating her and all that kind of stuff. And she thought that her ex-boyfriend was actually her boyfriend. And she kept saying no, but her dad kept explaining to her, no, that, you've been dating Shane for a little while now.
Damn, that has to be weird, man. No, it's my ex. You know what? I'm going to try that move. You're not my wife. That's
exactly. Yeah. This sex is fantastic.
I don't know you.
We've had it 20 times. What's the craziest crash you've been in or witnessed? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Ricky. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So I'm just going to preface this by saying that this story and 1,000 more like it are the reason why I've been clean and sober for about 4.5 years.
Okay.
So me and a good buddy of mine are downtown Seattle. It's Saturday night. This is about 21 years ago. We're at a little venue down there seeing a show. We leave the show heavily inebriated right around 2 a.m. And we start heading up I-5 with a plan to go score some meth so that we can sober up, right? And
there's a plan.
That's always my go-to. If I'm hungover like Ted, bang it, pass me the meth.
We got a plan.
I need to sober up.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a whole plan, yeah. And so we're racing up I-5 to make it to our destination that we are so eagerly awaiting. It's pouring down rain. You know how I-5 gets. So there's all this standing water in the ridges of the road. And just before we get to the Northgate exit, I'm doing probably 70 at least, and the tires lose grip with the road. So now we're doing 360s across all lanes of I-5 at 2 a.m. on a Saturday night with cars like whizzing by us. Somehow we didn't get hit by any of the other cars. We ended up, heading over towards the cement embankment, or the cement in the middle of the freeway, and then we did 360s all the way back over. Slammed right into the dirt embankment on the right side of the freeway. We get out of the car. I'm pissed because we are not going to make it to our destination now. The car is totaled. There's no chance. And this car pulls over back a little ways behind us. They had just seen what transpired. And these three girls that are as drunk as I have been until this wreck sobered me up, and they're bawling their eyes out because they're certain that they have just seen two people die in a crash. And so they're running at us with their arms wide open to run and embrace us and give us hugs because we're not dead. And I was so angry that the wreck happened, and then now I had to figure out a different plan. That I was like, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Walk away. They were just
don't touch me.
Cute girls. And they were funny, and they were so drunk, and I appreciated the sentiment after the fact, but in the moment, I did not.
No, I understand, man.
Yeah.
When you're in a moment, even though you recognize the positivity of someone else,
you ruined my meth score.
Not now, man. Just wait a minute.
What is the craziest crash that you've been in or witnessed? 206-421-ROCK.
So is that the meth trick? Like if I'm really effed up on booze, like meth, at least,
I mean, any speed.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Have you ever seen a drunk guy in a nightclub bump some coke?
No.
All of a sudden, he's good to go. So, I had to do a guy that he used to smoke meth, and he's like, oh, dude, it's the same thing. And we've been, we were wasted. You go in back room, smoke meth, and then you're fine.
Okay, another beer.
But I will say, my other buddy who enjoyed cocaine a lot, he would always tell stories about when he was living in New York City. He'd be like, promise, man, we'd run out. And then all the booze would hit you in about a half an hour. And I'd pass out in the bar. I don't know if half an hour is correct, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, I do. that can be problematic.
He was a big man.
Yeah.
Like tall. I mean, not like fat, but like a big dude. And he's like,
I'm picturing him.
Yeah, I'm like, what happened? He's like, I fell and busted my head. I was like, what? He's like, we ran out of coke. But like apparently the 18 shots I had caught up.
That's the way you play the game.
All right, roll the dice.
Hello, Tyler. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you, man. We appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. So, back in 2017, I was on my way to work on Camino Island. I lived in Marysville. I was going to my aunt's house. I was working under her wing for a while, and I was an apprentice to a contractor, so I was just learning how to do a bunch of stuff. And I was on my way to work one morning, and going about 50, 55 on a two-lane, middle of nowhere, 5:30 in the morning, like super early. And about the 4-mile stretch straight away, everyone's got a huge driveway, like a half-mile long or something. There's a truck just parked at the end, and I'm driving by 55, and he pulls out T-bones, and I barrel roll into the pasture. I end up breaking my back.
Ooh.
And then stuck upside down, waiting for some sort of help or anything.
Do you feel the pain of a broken back when it has happened, or is there enough adrenaline that you don't quite figure it out yet?
I didn't feel anything, and I stayed awake for the whole thing, which was terrifying. I was just like upside down, flying in the air, and I was in a old Volvo, the wagon, the V60, I think.
Yeah.
Big old steel car, but saved my life. And I was just stuck upside down in the pasture. You know, the other driver came out to check up on me. Hey, you good in there, man? I'm like, no, I'm stuck. Airbag blowing up. It's all smoky and white. I can't see nothing. Come to find out, after a bunch of insurance claims, and they've been trying to pin on me, saying I was going like 90. They had forensics out saying, no, this kid was doing exactly what he said. Turns out that the guy that hit me was actually my old math teacher from high school.
Get out of here.
Oh.
Did you enjoy math?
I did. Actually,
see, I hate math.
And he was a great teacher. So it was that's probably the only reason nothing ended up happening. I mean, I didn't know what to do, right? I was only like, 21 maybe at the time, 20. And I had no idea what to do after that, right? I was in the emergency room. After the whole process was over, people were telling me, like, you should do something, like, go after him, do whatever. But I didn't want to because he was a good teacher.
Right, yeah, okay, all right. That's kind of a weird predicament. How long were you out of commission with a broken back?
I was out of commission for 6 months.
What do you do? I mean, do you go to physical therapy? Do you just sit down? I mean, what do you do for 6 months?
Well, I had just been basically locked in my bed for 6 months, and I wasn't able to really move too much, so I just sat down and started playing my game for a while. It was a long while.
Well, so how much, without that mobility, how much rehab did you have to do for your legs?
I was able to move my legs a bit afterwards, so when I ended up breaking my back, I broke 3, vertebrae?
Yeah.
In the bottom of my back, the L1, L2, and the one below it, I believe.
Damn.
And so, yeah, I didn't know what to do. I had not enough money for any rehab, so I had just been basically sitting in my bed trying to exercise little bit by little bit. And I was able to get out of the hospital after surgery in Harborview pretty quick. So,
damn. Okay. Coming up, the exciting return of Who Sucks Less, and your emails on the way from the men's room at KISW.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
All right, let's clear this garage. Start a pile here for donations, one over here for recycling, and one more over here for trash. Hang on, what are you doing?
Recycling?
We may need that paint one day, and that can't be recycled.
First, this can looks older than me. And second, paintcare.org says you can.
Paintcare.org. Let me see. Oh, and there's a drop-off site close by. And it's free? Nice.
Dad, no.